Planning the dive. Planning a dive means identifying and optimizing the things you need to do, but refers specifically to the dive itself. For example, you must optimize the route you are going to take and the way of getting into and out of the water. You should identify the exit point before deciding where to get in, because the exit should be as simple as possible, and environmental conditions such as waves or currents can influence your planned route. For instance, when diving from the shore where there is a longshore current, choose a point of exit that is downstream from the entry point. You must also consider that a dive is not made on a horizontal plane, like a route on land, but in 3 dimensions. So, you must also take the depth into account. When deciding the route, include the descent and ascent rate and any eventual stops. On touristic or recreational dives, the route is usually established by the conformation of the seabed and the marine life that you encounter, and it is impossible to determine it completely beforehand. However, you must still establish the maximum depth and how long you will stay at the different depth levels. As well as determining the dive route, in the planning you also need to take into account any potential problems. In practice, you have to answer the question, what would happen if? For example, you should ask yourself what would happen if a piece of equipment stopped working correctly, or what would happen if someone made a mistake. This way of thinking has led us to do things in a certain way, such as positioning the knife in an area where it can easily be reached, or having a backup of some items, which does not mean taking 2 instead of 1. Taking a reserve is not intended as simply doubling up all your equipment, otherwise divers would go around looking like Christmas trees. The problem is easily solved by taking with you equipment that has a similar but different function, such as a knife along with a pair of snips. In terms of backup, the fact of diving with a buddy compensates the need to take a double set of equipment, as long as the rules of the buddy system are applied. You also need to consider that you might get separated from your buddy or group. You must establish precise procedures for any eventuality and follow those procedures scrupulously throughout the dive. Remember that 95% of incidents are caused by diver error.